Cyberspace, the final frontier. These are the ramblings of the critic, the comic archivist. His continuing mission, to explore strange new comics, to seek out new comics and new comicizations, to boldly go where probably dozens, if not hundreds, have gone before. Hey, you already see the video title, so let's just dive right in. Warning, massive spoilers for Star Trek The Next Generation, Doctor Who Assimilations incoming. On with the show. Star Trek The Next Generation, Doctor Who Assimilation number 2. We open with Geordi LaForge running a diagnostic on the positronic man Data. Geordi brings up that Data may be an extraordinary android, but he is over 30 years old, and technologies like isolinear chips have made up huge improvements since then. So has he ever thought about upgrading himself? Data responds with the philosophical implications. If he continued to perpetually upgrade himself, where would it end, and where would he begin? Using Geordi's visor as an example of a superior component to other humans, yet Geordi has never considered upgrading other aspects of himself to be superior, and in fact would prefer to have normal eyesight like everyone else. Over in Captain Picard's ready room, Commander Riker enters and tells Captain Picard that they're arriving at the mining operation on Naya 7. It's only a basic meet and greet, so Riker, Worf, and Data are going down just to say howdy. Of course, then we get the standard Star Trek fluff of explaining the mining operation, the Federation ties to the native inhabitants, the T.A.R.D.I.S. However, as it's being explained that they are having some technical difficulties in variables and whatnot, the window behind Riker shatters and the room begins to fill with water. They do get to safety as medical and engineering teams are sent down from the Enterprise to help figure things out. So they all beam back to the ship, but since there's nothing but time on their hands while Geordi figures out what happened to the infrastructure of the base, Dr. Crusher, Riker, and Data get dressed in their 1940s best and head to the holodeck to play the new Dixon Hill adventure. Aha! Sorry. So on the holodeck, they stand in a bar to get some grub. Suddenly a boisterous voice speaks loudly, praising the positronic android Data. The Doctor approaches Data, thrilled at him. Initially, the Enterprise crews think that they're just malfunctioning simulations, to which the Doctor finally realizes that they're in a holographic San Francisco. Riker shuts down the program, and the Doctor, Amy, and Rory are escorted to the captain. Something interesting to note is that the Doctor is remembering things he shouldn't possibly know, like that Worf is a Klingon. We get the big meeting between the Doctor and Captain Picard, with both very much in character, which is awesome. However, an emergency transmission from Delta 4 has the Enterprise charging in at Warp 9. Riker notes that Delta 4 is heavily populated, but of no strategic value. As soon as they're within visual range, the Doctor and Picard both look on in horror at fleets of Cybermen ships and Borg cubes. I know there's a lot of plot for this issue, and there's even gaps in there, like it's actually a couple of pages with Riker and co. meeting with the Doctor and co. in the hologram, taking a little longer than, that's weird, computer end program. But I think that's not a failing on the comic, but a failing in my review style for these, because what makes the Doctor is his voice. I mean, yes, the silly antics and badass parts make the character too, but without that dialogue and just tone overall and how he speaks, you kinda lose that spark. So while he and the Enterprise crew are not only written in the same step as the source material amazingly well, the interaction is what makes it just click on so many levels. Plus, it makes the worrisome look of Picard and the Doctor's face at the end really have the weight that it wants. But my personal favorite scene is the Data Geordi scene, about upgrading, which is obviously a commentary on the Cybermen and Borg ideology. But I just love this scene because it's a discussion that popped up in the show before, especially when talking of Geordi's visor. It's a fantastic scene that may be old hat, but works really well here for me. Also, fun reference I noticed is that there's this huge sign in the Dixon Hill holodeck adventure saying Tom's Bakery. I'm going to chalk this up as a reference to the fourth and, not even arguably, the most popular Doctor, Tom Baker. So tomorrow, the Doctor and the Enterprise crew face an armada of the Borg and the Cybermen, which may be neat since the Doctor is anti-violence and the Enterprise doesn't mind blowing stuff up if it's an inconvenience.
Star trekking across the universe.